Have you ever stood up too fast and felt like the ground was slipping beneath your feet, or walked across the room only to forget why you went there in the first place? If you're over 50, maybe you've noticed how stairs feel steeper than they used to. Your balance isn't what it once was. Your joints stiff in the morning, sore by evening. And the mind, foggy tired, slow to recall names or find words that once came so easily. I know this pain because I've lived it. I'm Dr. Alexei, 91 years old. There was a time not long ago when just getting out of bed felt like a battle. My knees ached. My back protested. I was scared not of death, but of losing my independence, of becoming a burden, of slowly fading while still alive. Then everything changed, not through medicine, not through gyms or pills, but through something ancient, quiet, and incredibly powerful. I discovered 6 movements practiced daily by Japanese elders, many of whom live beyond 100 with clarity, balance, and strength. These aren't workouts. They're rituals. Small, almost invisible acts that awaken muscles you forgot existed and reconnect the brain to the body. And today I will share them with you. So if you've ever felt your body slipping out of your control, if you're afraid of what aging might take away, then stay with me, because what you're about to discover might just change the way you move and live for the next 10, 20, even 30 years. Watch until the end. There's one secret movement only 2 minutes a day linked to 7 extra years of life. It may surprise you. It surprised me. We've been told that aging is just a downhill ride, that weak knees, poor balance, foggy thinking, and aching backs are all part of the deal after 50. But what if that's not entirely true? What if the pain and decline so many of us accept isn't just aging, but the result of something we stopped doing decades ago? See, in the West, we worship movement in the form of gyms, intense workouts, and pushing harder. But for many older adults, that backfires. Why? Because the real loss isn't muscle. It's the connection between body and brain. It's the fine-tuned balance system, the micro movements, the deep stabilizing muscles that stop firing when we spend 10 hours a day in chairs, cars, and couches. We traded natural movement for convenience, and that convenience made us weak not visibly, but deep inside where it really counts. When researchers studied Japanese elders, many over 90 still mobile, independent, mentally sharp, they found something shocking. It wasn't genetics. It wasn't green tea or diet alone. It was 6 daily movements, gentle, rhythmic, purposeful, movements that Western doctors once ignored because they seemed too simple. But brain scans and joint imaging told a different story. These movements reactivated forgotten systems. And here's the part that changed my life. I didn't need to lift weights or run marathons. I just needed to move with intention every day the way humans were designed to. In a moment, I'll show you all 6. But first, let me explain how they work one by one and why even just one of them might transform your next decade. Movement 1, Sampo, the art of slow walking. For most of my life, walking meant rushing, moving from one place to another as fast as my legs could carry me. Even when I grew older, I still walked like I was late for something. My heart raced, my breath was shallow, and my mind was always somewhere else. Then one day, while reading a Japanese study on long-lived elders, a simple word caught my eye: Sampo, slow walking. It wasn't a workout, it was a ritual. Every morning, men and women in their 80s and 90s walked slowly through gardens or quiet streets, often alone, sometimes in silence. At first, I thought it was just poetic. Then I tried it. You walk at half your normal pace. Inhale for 2 steps, hold for 2, exhale for 4. Your feet roll gently from heel to toe, feeling the ground the way you once did as a child. The rhythm is calm, deliberate, almost meditative. Within minutes, I could feel my heartbeat syncing with my breath, my thoughts slowing down, and my balance, once shaky, returning. Sampo retrains your body in ways that gyms never can. It reawakens 33 joints in each foot, sending signals to your brain that strengthen coordination and stability. It improves blood flow to the heart and calms the nervous system. For elders in Kyoto, it's more than movement. It's medicine in motion. I started with 5 minutes a day on soft grass near my home. The first few days, I felt clumsy, too slow, too careful. But by the second week, something magical happened. The tension in my knees eased, my mind grew clearer, and I began to feel connected to the earth, to the air, and to myself. That's the power of Sampo. No sweat, no pain, just awareness, breath, and the simple joy of moving the way your body was designed to. So tomorrow morning, before coffee, step outside. Leave your phone. Walk slowly. Listen to your breath. That's how the Japanese begin their day, and perhaps how they live to 100 with grace. Movement 2. Radio Taiso, the 3-minute morning ritual that moves a nation. I used to believe that if a movement didn't hurt, it couldn't help. I thought you had to sweat strain and push your limits to stay strong. But that belief began to unravel the morning I discovered Radio Taiso. In Japan, at exactly 6:30 a.m., a soft piano tune plays over the radio, not news, not weather, but a call to movement. From school children to elders in their 90s, millions begin the day with this gentle routine. I watched a video once, a group of white-haired men and women moving in quiet unison, arms, circling bodies, swaying, breathing in rhythm. I was fascinated. I decided to try it. I stood in my kitchen barefoot, still in my pajamas. The movements were simple shoulder rolls, side bends, gentle twists. But what struck me was how complete it felt. Every joint, every limb, every breath had a role to play. It wasn't just exercise. It was like brushing the dust off my body, gently waking it up. Just 3 minutes and 15 seconds. No pain, no panting. But by the end, my blood felt warm, my mind alert, and my spine, which usually creaked and groaned in the morning, felt loose and aligned. A study from Japan followed over 8,000 seniors and found that those who practiced Radio Taiso daily had 40% fewer falls, 55% less back pain, and retained full mobility into their 80s and beyond. How these rhythmic movements lubricate the joints, stimulate the production of synovial fluid, the body's natural joint oil, and keep muscles supple without overexertion. I now do it every morning before breakfast. No mat, no equipment, no excuses. It's just me, a quiet space, and a few minutes to tell my body I'm still here. Let's begin today together. If you've ever felt stiff in the morning, or if bending down has become a chore, try this. You don't need to believe in it. Just do it. Let your body remember what it means to move with grace, not force. Movement 3. Deep squat rest. The lost human posture. There was a time not that long ago when getting into a deep squat felt impossible. My knees screamed, my ankles locked up. I'd wobble, lose balance, and stand up in frustration. But when I visited a Japanese park during a medical conference many years ago, I saw something I couldn't forget: elders, some well into their 80s, calmly resting in deep squats. Their backs were straight, their heels flat. Some were sipping tea, others tending bonsai. It wasn't a stretch for them. It was their natural resting position. That moment haunted me. How had I and so many of us lost this basic human posture? The answer, I realized, was simple: chairs. We sit in chairs all day, which shortens our hip flexors, stiffens our ankles, weakens our pelvic floor, and disconnects us from our core. Deep squatting, on the other hand, opens the hips, decompresses the spine, strengthens the knees, and activates muscles we haven't used in decades. So I began, slowly. At first, I used a sturdy chair for balance. My heels wouldn't touch the ground, so I placed a small towel under them. I held the squat for 10 seconds, then 15. Day by day, breath by breath, I taught my body to remember what it once knew. After a few weeks, I could squat without support. And something extraordinary happened. I started to feel lighter. My knees hurt less when climbing stairs. My digestion improved. I could tie my shoes with ease. And I felt younger. A 12-year study from Japan showed that elders who could hold a deep squat for just 2 minutes had a 70% lower risk of needing assisted living. Why? Because this position trains your body to remain mobile and independent without fancy equipment or intense effort. If you haven't squatted in years, don't worry. Start near a wall. Hold a rail or counter. Let your heels lift if needed. It's not about perfect form, it's about awakening forgotten muscles and reclaiming lost strength. This is not just a movement, it's a return to how humans are meant to rest, grounded, supported, and free. Movement 4. Single leg standing. Balance that builds the brain. I always thought balance was just about the body: strong legs, steady feet. But after turning 70, I noticed something unsettling. I'd turn too quickly and stumble. I'd stand in the shower and feel uneasy. Worse, I'd forget things, small things, a name, a date, a reason I walked into a room. Then I came across a study from Fukuoka University that changed the way I understood aging. It followed 12,000 seniors for 15 years and discovered something profound. Those who practiced standing on one leg for just 1 minute twice a day had significantly fewer falls, better brain function, and even a longer life expectancy. I decided to try. I stood near my kitchen counter, lifted 1 foot a few inches, and stared at a fixed point on the wall. 9 seconds. That's all I could manage before tipping over. I was shocked. I had no idea how much my inner balance system had weakened, but I didn't give up. The next day, I tried again. And again. Slowly, my balance improved. But more than that, I felt present, focused. My thoughts were clearer, my reaction time sharper. I wasn't just training my legs, I was rewiring my brain. You see, when you stand on one leg, your body makes hundreds of micro adjustments. Ankles tighten, hips engage, core stabilizes, but inside your vestibular system, your internal gyroscope lights up, and so does your brain. Now I practice while brushing my teeth. I've even added gentle head turns or closing one eye to make it harder. It's like meditation and strength training rolled into one, and it only takes a minute. The Mayo Clinic now says that your ability to balance on one leg is a stronger predictor of longevity than your cholesterol. So if you're over 50, don't wait for the next fall to tell you your balance is fading. Test yourself today. Stand near a wall, lift 1 foot, and just try. You might be surprised at what your body and your brain still remember. Movement 5, floor sitting transitions, your daily longevity test. I used to avoid the floor. Not because I didn't want to sit, but because I feared I wouldn't be able to get back up. That fear, quiet but real, crept in around my late 70s. Dropping a pen, tying a shoe, reaching under the table, these became moments of hesitation, even anxiety. Then, I came across a Japanese study that followed over 10,000 seniors. The researchers found something: astonishing people who could sit down on the floor and stand back up without using their hands had significantly lower mortality rates over the next 6 years. That was a wake-up call. Not being able to rise from the ground wasn't just a sign of weakness, it was a warning about overall functional decline, coordination, core strength, flexibility, and even cognitive planning. So I decided to reclaim that movement. At first I used a low stool, then a folded blanket on the carpet. Slowly, with the help of a chair beside me, I lowered myself down, knees first, then hips, and stood back up using as little hand support as I could manage. 1 repetition turned into 2, then 3. Within weeks, I could go down and rise up with grace, no hands needed. The freedom I felt, physical and emotional, was indescribable. Getting on and off the floor forces your entire body to work as a system. It's a test of leg strength, hip mobility, ankle flexibility, and core coordination. And each successful transition tells your body you're still capable, still independent. Now I do it every day. 2, maybe 3 times, sometimes while playing with my grandson, sometimes while meditating. It's no longer a challenge. It's a ritual of dignity. If you're afraid to try, start with support. Use a wall, a cushion, or a sturdy chair. Even half transitions are progress, because the day you can't get off the floor is the day your independence begins to slip away. Don't wait for that day. Train for it now with intention and hope. Movement 6, towel twist, the 2-minute reset that rewires the body. Of all the movements I've learned, this one felt the most underwhelming at first. You take a towel, stretch it between your hands, and twist gently from side to side. That's it. No sweat, no strain. Just a simple twist. But what I didn't understand, what no one told me, is that this tiny motion unlocks something much deeper than flexibility. In Japan, it's called Tenugui Haibiki. Elders there credit this one movement done morning and night with preserving their mental sharpness and physical grace well into their 90s. Some even call it their anchor ritual. I gave it a try. Towel stretched, arms raised at shoulder height. I pulled gently outward as if trying to tear it, and slowly rotated my torso to one side. Held, breathed, then returned and twisted to the other. Within minutes, I could feel heat rising along my spine and a strange clarity in my mind. I began doing it each morning before breakfast and again before bed. It became a quiet bookend to my day, activating my nervous system when I woke and calming it when I rested. Here's what I've since learned. The sustained tension on the towel recruits deep stabilizer muscles, the ones we lose first with age. The rotational movement strengthens the spine, massages the organs, and here's the surprising part, stimulates both hemispheres of the brain. Brain scans from a 20-year Japanese study showed that this movement lights up areas involved in coordination, memory, and focus. Those who practiced it lived on average 7 years longer, with better grip strength and bone density than their peers. And yet it takes just 2 minutes. No gym, no excuses. I now think of it as a handshake between my body and mind, a reminder that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's found in a quiet twist, a gentle breath, and the discipline to keep showing up. So grab a towel, stretch, twist, and breathe. You may be surprised at how much power lives in something so simple. When I first discovered these 6 Japanese movements, I felt inspired but also overwhelmed. 6, I thought. Every day. At 91, I didn't have time or energy to commit to complicated routines. But then I realized something: these weren't exercises. They were habits. Gentle rituals that could be woven into my day, like breathing like tea. Not chores. Anchors. Here's how I now do it simply and naturally every single day. You can follow this plan or make your own. What matters most is that you begin. Morning after waking up. Step 1, Radio Taiso, before coffee. Before anything else, I stand by the window and start my day with this gentle 3-minute sequence. It wakes up every joint, oils my stiffness, and brings a quiet energy. Step 2, Towel Twist. Right after I take a towel, stretch it between my hands and twist left and right, just 2 minutes. My mind clears, my breath deepens. I feel alert but calm. Step 3, Sampo Slow Walk. After breakfast, I go outside if possible and walk slowly for 10 minutes. Breathing in for 2 steps, holding for 2, breathing out for 4. I return home grounded, not tired. During the day. Step 4, Single Leg Balance. While brushing my teeth or washing dishes, I lift 1 foot, hold for 30-60 seconds, then switch. I do this twice a day. It keeps my ankles and brain awake. Step 5, Deep Squat Rest. When I need a short pause, instead of sitting on a chair, I squat. Sometimes near the wall, sometimes while reading. Just a few minutes reopens my hips, stretches my spine, and relaxes my lower back. Evening before bed. Step 6, Towel Twist again. I end the day the way I started, with slow twists, but this time I move more slowly. It tells my body it's time to let go. I sleep deeper on the days I do this. Weekly bonus 2-3 times a week. Floor sitting transitions. Not daily, but often. I practice getting down to the floor and standing up again, even just twice. It reminds my body that it still remembers, and that I am still in charge. Some days I do them all, some days just 1 or 2. But the rhythm remains, and with each week, my body listens better. My joints cooperate, my mind sharpens. You don't need an hour, not even 30 minutes. Just small moments repeated with care can change everything. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you. I don't take your time or your hope lightly. These 6 movements may seem simple. Too simple perhaps for a world obsessed with effort and speed. But I've lived long enough to tell you, longevity isn't built on how hard you push, it's built on how consistently you move with intention. I didn't share these movements to impress you. I shared them because I needed them myself. At 78, I feared I was slipping into decline slowly, quietly, like a sunset you can't stop. But now at 91, I walk steady, I sleep peacefully, and my mind is still mine. You don't need to master all 6. Start with 1, just 1. 1 minute, 1 towel twist, 1 deep breath. That's all it takes to begin. And if you're thinking, it's too late for me, please hear me when I say, it's never too late to rebuild trust with your body. So I invite you today, not tomorrow, to try. Try 1 movement, feel it, repeat it. Let your body remember what it's capable of. Because aging doesn't have to mean fading. It can mean awakening to strength, to clarity, to balance. Leave a comment below. Which of the 6 movements speaks to you the most? Will you start today? I read every comment, and if you write, I will reply. Like this video if it helped you. Subscribe if you want more guidance like this. Share this with someone who might need it, a parent, a partner, a friend. Your next decade can look very different from your last. All it takes is 5 minutes a day and a decision to move. I'm with you, always.